When you think of felt sense of love as a kid, like let's just go from dad to mom. When were the moments where you felt a felt sense of love with your dad?
Feel for you.
My dad kind of took it upon himself to teach me to build models to play with slot cars, which was like cars that you go around an electric track with a motor on them and you race people. And he introduced me to music because he could play the viola, the banjo, the ukulele, and he would love to like perform. And he got me to perform along with him. And this was like, me being 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. And then success in law took him away from music and the opportunities for us to kind of do this thing together. And but there was, he showed me how to fly gasoline powered airplanes and, like on the control line and stuff like that. We did some cool stuff together. I got things from my father that my other 3 sibs did not. And my mom, her gift to me was probably one of the smartest people that I was around. She read, probably to escape, she read voraciously, everything from trashy novels to like the classics. And I remember she subscribed to this thing where, once every 6 weeks or so, you'd get a classic novel, bound in some nice way. And they were all along there. And she broke it down for me. She's like, honey, these stories, when you know these stories, so much of the world will make sense. Other people really don't know, like if somebody starts acting like Dionysus or something at a party, but you will if you read these books. I was like, fuck, I want to read these books. So I, looked at them, was like, man, I can't read this at all. This will have to come later. And she also did some things for me that were like astonishing, like in this case, music. I remember she's telling me the Beatles are a thing. They've officially given me Beatles records, and I've bought them. I have a little record player. I must have been somewhere around 7 or 8, and the Beatles were on a cover of a magazine. And my mom broke it down for me, honey. The Beatles are in a tough place because they literally can't perform because they cannot hear themselves live anymore. So they're not going to perform live, and other people are really trying to tell them what to do. And now that I'm thinking about this must be more like 10. And I was like, God damn, mom knows about the Beatles. She knows about those books up there.
She's like an insider.
Yeah, right, honey. So unfortunately, some of her insights were not as welcome. And she was concerned that I liked music as much as I did.
Really?
Yes. She was afraid that I would be seduced by the idea of being a musician as a way of life.
And you were.
Yes, and it led to
She was right.
what I discussed in therapy many times and is known now, like it's apocryphal. It is the dishwashing machine talk between my mom and myself. I remember telling my Mom, I can go to Shakey's Pizza. Somebody's playing there, some jazz band. I know I can get in the back. I'm just telling you because I don't want to have to sneak out. Like this is really what I want to do. We've got it figured out, and we're going to go do this thing. My mom's like, it's a school night. And I was like, well, it's these people, I can't remember who it was. And I know I can get in. And my mom says, this is not a good idea. And so I decided at that point, like it was time to share with her something that I'd been kind of like chewing on. I was like, Mom, I think I want to be a musician. And I think that you need to let me go in a very 14-year-old way, because this is a part of my training. This is who I want to be.
Yeah, you're not just going as an audience member.
So
you're going.
My mom is kind of cleaning the kitchen, and she's putting something in the dishwasher, and she kind of, my memory is that she kind of stops, puts the dish down, kind of squares up with me. So Dawn, being a musician is a job for somebody that can't get real work. And I'm just like, she goes, that's not what you're going to do. And then I remember, this is probably, I'm kind of mashing together some things that happened over a period of time. But my next question was like, well, then what am I going to do? And she goes, well, you're going to go to college. You're going to pledge a fraternity. Those will become your friends and the people that you work around for the rest of your life, and you'll be successful. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? And she goes, you'll figure that out. And I said, well, when will I do that? She goes, usually it happens around the fraternity time because a bunch of the people start doing something. and you'll find your way. And I said, well, what about like, all those books you were talking about? So, yeah, you're going to go to college. You're going to get exposed to all that stuff. And I remember not having a way to come back except to like, be upset. I don't know what I did, but that, and of course, dad is not there. Dad's not there to be a part of this conversation.
Yeah.
It's mom's the only one that has any power now. And, I was really confused. And I've often wondered that if she had said something like, oh my God, you really are good at the guitar, honey. At least you'd start looking at schools. I'd probably be a fucking accountant now. If she had accepted that and it wasn't the road up the pathway with all the monsters, I don't know if I would have done it because I was not the best player.
She turned you into a dragon slayer. She was like, there be dragons there. And you're like, well, sounds like an adventure.
Do you think that like somewhere like inside her that she was going to do the hard thing with me? That's odd. Yeah, how about that? That she was going to do the hard thing with me so like I could have this experience. Like that was part of it was like some sort of a fantasy novel where she had to like secretly discourage me so that the right thing would happen. I don't know. I think that she was probably just trying to really help a brother out. I'm learning about the limitations of parental approval. or maybe the benefits of parental disapproval.
We were talking about, so your mom, the felt sense of love from your mom came when she kind of talked to you like an adult, when she shared with you this insider vibe.
That's right. That I've never experienced somebody giving it back to me that way. Because she did. She dropped all pretense because she really needed to help me.
Yeah.
Like, and to kind of stop this thing now. Well, what it did is it started a long rolling rebellion on my part. And where I had to finesse, there was two things I had to finesse. One, talking them into letting me have a motorcycle because I knew it was part of my DNA was to have a motorcycle. The other one was to get me a goddamn electric guitar. I don't want an acoustic guitar. I want an electric one, which I finally got from 10 years old. And then the final one was like, pretend to look the other way. And what I will do is I will be good enough at school to get into a really good college. And I will get that far and then I'll figure it out. And so that worked. That worked for everybody. We had skirmishes that would come up.